Industry's in trouble. Today, E3 announced they are permanently closing their doors. And whether you like E3 or not, whether you think it's a trash presentation show, whether you thought it was already dead for many years, it's not a good thing that E3 is gone. And now the gaming industry is basically being held at the mercy of the Game Awards show and how good the Game Awards show will be going forward, which I'm personally doubting. And the main reason why I think of that is when you look at the Game Awards show, it's supposed to be a celebration of all the nominees for that year. The hardworking developers and teams that made some of the best games of the current year. And at this point, we barely get that. The Game Awards is basically just a commercial reel of game trailers. And that's it. Very little time dedicated to the developers and the teams. In fact, they rushed the Zelda team, Eiji Onuma and company, off stage this year. They were like, get the hell off stage. We got to get back to these worldwide premieres and these trailers and stuff like that. And yeah, there are exciting announcements at the Game Awards, no doubt. They do show a lot of big reveals, a lot of exciting news, but there's not enough time dedicated to both the awards or these announcements. It just feels like a Frankenstein and a mishmash of a lot of stuff together, and it doesn't leave that proper professional environment that an E3 did. Whether you like E3 or not, E3 was so much more than just announcements and trailers. They had a whole convention, a floor with areas for developers to showcase their video games, to showcase their consoles, to showcase their products. And you had dedicated stations to where these games could be played and demoed by journalists, and journalists would get to actually physically write, record, and talk about these games. It was like a proper journalist environment. The Game Awards is not that, ladies and gentlemen. The Game Awards is more catered towards consumers, which there's nothing wrong with that. We make up the majority of the money. We're spending the money. We're playing the games. But think about it. Now there's going to be no time for like actual legit demonstrations and things about the Game Awards because the Game Awards is catered towards commercialized nonsense. Let's be honest. Think about it. The Game Awards is 3 hours or plus of nonsense, like to where you're just sitting there dozing off and once in a while something catches your eye. It just doesn't feel the same in my opinion. And I know both events, E3 and the Game Awards, are subject to a lot of criticism. But to me, I always enjoyed E3 just a tad bit more because it always felt like a bigger, more professional event, in my opinion. That's not to say that the Game Awards could become something bigger and better at this point, but it's just kind of scary when there's only one huge event now that E3 is gone. And sure, there's Gamescom and there's the Tokyo Game Show and all these other events, but not as many eyeballs are honestly on those events like the Game Awards. I mean, the Game Awards just happened, and so many of us on YouTube are just talking about some of the announcements, like the Sega announcement and who won and what Baldur's Gate 3 did and how Spider-Man 2 got snubbed and didn't win one single award, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But now we don't have a real showcase of just not just the gaming industry, but just the electronics entertainment industry as a whole. We have nothing to do that unless something shows up and pops up. But at this point, you're filling in 20 years worth of shoes. You know what I mean? E3 was that big of an event, and it's sad to see it go, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's been dead or whatnot. I went to E3 one time and I had a blast. It was so amazing walking the convention floor and checking out all sorts of stuff in person, like physically going and being able to hold it. Even as a consumer, being able to go and preview an actual game and have the controller and just physically holding it and looking at a game and stuff feels like so much better of an experience than just watching trailer after trailer after trailer on the Game Awards show. Just my humble opinion, all right? And honestly, the fact that it's almost like when WWE bought WCW, how the wrestling industry kind of just went down because it was a monopoly. Like, unfortunately, I could see everything kind of going downhill because the Game Awards is going to be the sole, like, individual presentation, awards ceremony, whatever, big, huge gathering once a year. outside of Summerfest, which is still Game Awards, or Summer of Games, which is the Game Awards still, it's not good. Especially when you think of like how much power they'll have. They could literally make or break a lot of gaming companies going forward. They could choose to acknowledge a video game, like how Hogwarts Legacy was not even acknowledged at all at the Game Awards, not even nominated. Think of how much stuff is going to be left in the dust because they're not playing to the mainstream, that they're not playing to whatever the Game Awards agrees with. There needs to be checks and balances, and I feel E3, although it's been MIA the last couple of years because of the pandemic, offered that. And so much more. It offered a real hands-on interactive experience that is going to be away. And I don't see the Game Awards adding some kind of huge convention to it. If they did, it could be amazing, but it's still troubling that they're the only show in town now. Is basically my point. I know this message, or my hypothesis, whatever I'm trying to get across right now, might not ring through to a lot of people because a lot of gamers kind of have like this weird tunnel vision when it comes to what a bigger picture can be. A lot of people right now might be celebrating, oh, E3's gone, it's bye, see you later. And, we're going to see E3 memes about them being dead and people making jokes about it. The bigger picture here is that this is going to affect the gaming industry for the worse. You might be happy E3's gone right now. You might be celebrating. You might be laughing. But think about how terrible the Game Awards is received. Like, I don't hear anybody say anything positive about the Game Awards any time of the year. It's always people talking about how it was boring, how we were dozing off through 3 hours of trailers, how this award got snubbed, and how this was cringe, and this was that. That's going to be our E3 now. Yeah, it's kind of felt like an E3-like event for quite some time because they do have some shocking announcements and reveals and stuff, but that's what we're going to be limited to now, boys and girls. We're going to be limited to the Game Awards show because I don't pay attention to Gamescom, and not too many huge announcements come out of Gamescom anyway. Tokyo Game Show is kind of secretive for the most part. Yeah, we'll get journalists writing, articles and stuff about it, but E3 was necessary. Whether you liked it or not, E3 was something since, 95? That was like a big event that would showcase a lot of stuff, a lot of brand new products in the industry, not just with gaming again, but like all sorts of electronics, all sorts of products. And it was an event. It was a huge spectacle for people. And now it's gone. And who knows if the Game Awards could even step up to the occasion. Honestly, I don't think they can. Geoff Keighley, bless his heart. He tries. He seems like he has a passion. But that show is more focused on being a commercial than anything. And I don't think it's going to do the gaming industry justice or any favors. So what's going to happen now without E3? I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see. And I don't think it's going to be good. I think the industry is going to severely be affected by E3 being gone. Because it's, again, like I said, it was a proper place for journalism to exist, to get information, to see presentations. And now it's going to be limited to a event that is just half-ass awards on top of a lot of commercials. And yeah, a lot of companies do their own events. Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony do their own digital events. But think about a lot of the other companies that relied on E3 that don't get as much, publicity at the Game Awards. They're going to be affected by this. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Let me know your thoughts, guys, down below. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Take care.